Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her Podcast featuring the one and only Coach Nicole Woods. Me, 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 me.
Hey.
How you doing today?
I'm better than excellent. How you doing?
Blessed, all highly favored all day,
Amen.
every
Right.
day. So let's get started. So Coach Woods, could you let us know like how you got to where you are in your sports story, in your journey?
Yes, I actually have a non-traditional route. After college, I did not go directly into coaching. I actually worked in corporate America first. I played at Belmont Abbey, finished there, and went straight into the accounting world. I was actually an accounting and business major. And I did that, and I was like, man, I can't look at a clock, every day just waiting to go home. I was bored sitting there, and decided to go and help out my high school team, Hunter Huss High School, back in Gastonia, North Carolina, and that kind of launched my coaching career. I started playing when I was about 8 years old. Played on the boys team from 8 until 13. Did not know how to play with girls. It's a completely different game. And it was just something that I enjoyed and I loved. And so when I got older and realized that I could make a living out of this thing, I remember being like, wow, like this is great. And so I started as a graduate assistant at SIU Carbondale for 2 years. And then I worked at Stetson University for 2 years, 2011 to 2013. Won a championship there, and then went to UNC Charlotte from 2013 to 2023 as the assistant coach and recruiting coordinator. Now I'm in my second season at the UNCW women's basketball. We've already won more games than we did last year, and so we're excited about the future of our program.
Hey, you gotta put them wings up for the folks. Gotta put them wings up. So we had to.
That's right.
Yeah. So my question for you is, what was the transition like, from playing at a D2 like Belmont Abbey to like coaching at a mid-major D1 where you're currently actually putting them on the map finally?
Yeah, it's hard. I tell my players all of the time, it's so much easier to play than it is to coach. When you play, you have direct results on whether a shot goes in or whether it doesn't go in. When you coach, you got to try to hope that they, get what you're trying to get them to do, so it's like an indirect thing. And so for somebody like me that liked to score the ball, it was an adjustment to be able, and coaching and being able to get the best out of your players. And we recruited a great recruiting class this last season, and they're doing great for us so far. And so, I'm just trying not to get in their way and mess them up, and give them the direction to be successful. And we're still kind of playing around with some different things and figuring out lineups and minutes and all of those things, but we'll get there.
So what were some of like, would you say the coaching style from, when you were at Stanton to UNC Charlotte and UNCW? Would you say like the coaching style that exemplified is like kind of different or similar to when you have coached all the players that you have coached over the years?
As an assistant coach, I was very much like that Energizer bunny, that the one that's very hype on the sideline, that brought a lot of energy. And as a head coach, I try to be very much even keel with my players, because I found that when I would get too high, they would get too high. If I got too low, they would get too low. And so I try to, hold down the fort and be consistent for them, so that they know what to expect from me every single day. And so some people might take that as, me not being happy or me being, mad or something like that. And it's not. I just try to be consistent regardless of what's going on, regardless of the situation, so that, they can be more comfortable to be able to play and play through mistakes.
For sure, because you know, the position, like I said, like to see you going from assistant coach to head coach is truly amazing. It's we hope to see more like also like the that coach to be like motivating and to see you like first of all, I love the content y'all be creating, especially like to see, y'all win the Puerto Rico tournament. What was that like?
Oh, it was great. We worked hard to be able to raise money to get down there to Puerto Rico and then to go down there and win both games. It's hard to win, period, let alone hard to win on the road. And, we had a great time down there. It was 86 degrees. And then we get back here and it was Arctic for the first time. And so we were ready to go back, to Puerto Rico, but we had a great time. I was telling a couple of folks that went on the trip with us. We had a couple of alum that went with us, and we said, these women will never forget these moments. The moments on the banana boat and the moments at the pool and on the beach. The memories are something that'll never leave never leave them.
For sure, because you know, I could, just to see the joy y'all have brought, and like, I love the moment where like y'all won both games, and you're like, I'm gonna just jump in the pool. I've never seen a coach just jump in the pool willingly just to have fun, and just like to me, it's just to see that it's just like it brings joy to what you love to do and stuff. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I told them if we won both games, they always joke with me because I don't get my hair wet too often. And we were out there earlier on the banana boats, and I had my swim cap on, and I told them, "Hey, we win both these games. Not only can you douse me with water in the locker room, I'll jump in the pool fully clothed." And there you go. That's what happened.
I know that's right. So my question for you is, what's it like to see the growth of women's basketball in viewership as well as attendance and just the promotion of what's it like to see that as well as you being part of that growth?
It's been great. Anybody that really watches women's basketball knows that it's really entertaining to watch, especially if you appreciate the game. I know a lot of people that prefer to watch women's basketball, as they say, we play the right way, in terms of the fundamentals and things of that nature. And so for other folks to kind of jump on board to be able to see, and then at the end of the day, it's viewership. We're on TV more. So now people can actually watch us, and that was a big deal prior to COVID for sure. And then now, with the rise of like the Angel Reeses of the world and the Caitlin Clarks, the Juju Watkins, that people they're must see TV. And so I'm super excited for the game. It's a trickle down effect to all of us. We get a great crowd at our games, and it's been great to see.
For sure, because like you said, like to see all the players just continue to bring that, the viewership and also like we've been trying to tell y'all how amazing women's basketball is. Like you just
Right,
tuning in, we try to tell y'all. So
right, right.
So who are like for you? Who are some of like some female players or any type of player that you looked up to that helped you mold and from being the player that you were to being, the coach that you are?
So the first person that really put the ball in my hand, I was a Boys and Girls Club kid. And prior to that, one of my neighbors, Sean, he used to play out in his backyard, and I would go play with him a little bit. And that was kind of the first time that I played. I was about 7 or 8. And then once I got to the Boys and Girls Club, my mom put us in all different sports just to kind of keep us active and to, see what I was good at. And I was good at a lot, but I was great at basketball, and it just kind of came natural. So much so that, there was a guy that ran the Boys and Girls Club named Cornelius Boogie Crank. And Boogie coached the boys team, and he saw me practice one day, and he took me off the girls team and put me on his boys team with him. And he was the first person that really believed in me in my athletic ability. And Boogie was somebody that I looked up to for sure. He would be the first person. And then I'll talk about, my kind of my idols growing up, growing up in the Gastonia, Charlotte area. At the time, the Charlotte Sting were in Charlotte, and so Don Staley, Andrea Stinson, all of those players that played back then, I loved. I played a lot like like Andrea Stinson, so I loved watching her. But my favorite player of all time is Cynthia Cooper, with the Houston Comets, and so I've got a lot of players that I like, but those players definitely influence my game.
For sure, especially to hear you mention like the Sting players. We hoping like the WNBA, please bring back the Sting, y'all.
Come on back, come on back. Yes, yes, it would be great.
What's it like to actually see the expansion of the WNBA to finally unfold?
It's about time, man. But again, it takes viewership and it takes dollars that people are going to put behind to be able to make these things happen. And it started with the viewership of the Caitlin Clarks of the world. And so we've said for a long time that there's so many more players that should be able to play in the WNBA and not have to go overseas unless they just want to. And now with the expansion of these different teams, they're getting the opportunity to do that. And so we're looking forward to it. I know I try to go and support as much as I can for sure.
So, what are some like for you? Like, what are some goals that you hope to fulfill for this season, both on and off the court?
Yeah, so our goal this season is to have the number one turnaround in the country. We only won 5 games last year, and we're already at 6, and so we want to continue that. And we believe that when we do what we're supposed to do, we can beat anybody. And so we don't we talk about not being mediocre, and we're going to try to win. We're trying to win every single game. We expect to win, and we're going trying to win a championship. And so this year we talk about pounding the stone, like to keep getting better at different things, and when you do that, then you'll have success. And so definitely, like I said, the number one turnaround, and then we want to be a championship contender year in and year out, and want to be the best team in the state.
I know that's right, because it's just to me like first of all, like shout out to you. Like it's too truly amazing to see you, be a coach at my like I said at my alma mater as I was a student athlete manager for the women's basketball team, and like I was part of the team where we won 13 home games, like protected the house, and I hope like I would love to see y'all like have the undefeated at home, like just make that history because you know records are always meant to be broken, and always to see like the growth of women's sports, and to see like so, to you to see this, I think is super amazing. I love what you are doing for UNCW for real.
Thank you. Try my best.
Hey, you ain't got to try, you doing it. So my question for you is, when it comes to women's sports,
Hmm.
how important is representation?
Is very important. I remember it wasn't until my older years that I realized that if I wanted to coach, I could. Because growing up, there was nobody that looked like me that coached, that was a head coach, or that was like in administration, whether it's like SWA, ADs, things of that nature. And I remember it was late in life to where before I realized that if I wanted to do that, that this was something that I could do. And I do think, especially here in the last 10 years, there has been an increase in representation, and especially African American women being head coaches and having these examples. And this little girl that looks up to me, hey, that could be me one day. You could be the president, you could be the basketball coach, you could be whatever you want to be. And it does matter because, as I said, growing up, I didn't even think about being a coach. It's so funny. My friends used to laugh at me because they all knew that I was going to be a coach. Everybody knew but me. I had no desire. I was like, I don't want no parts of it. And it ended up being my calling of what I was supposed to do, but I just couldn't see it because I didn't have anybody that looked like me. And so people talk about what's my goal. My goal is to show people that you don't have to be what the TV says you have to be, what social media says you have to be. You don't have to cuss and you don't have to do all of these things, dress provocatively that they try to say that women need to do to be seen and to be heard. That you can be your authentic self. And I tell my players all of the time, it's good enough. Being you is good enough just how you are. You don't have to do any of those things. And I try my best to instill that in them as well as my daughter, so that she has someone to look up to as well.
I know that's right, cause ooh, I'm here for it. And what's it like to be considered? What's it like to be considered an inspiration for for your players as well as your daughter and for everybody that comes to interact with you as well as come to see you coach?
Yeah, sometimes that's kind of a surreal thing for me, to be looked up to like that. I just try to be me and I try to be the best version of me every single day. And one thing my players know about me is that I'm going to always treat them for who they are and not for what they do. And I feel like a lot of times people get that, mistaken, and they try to do too many things that take them away from who they are. And so, I just try to be that every day. I do not take it lightly. And I tell them all the time, there's always somebody watching. We live in a fish bowl. We live in a fish bowl, and there's always somebody watching us. So I try to carry myself accordingly.
How would you describe this season for you so far?
So far, like I said, we're 6-4 now. We've played some big boys in North Carolina as well as Virginia Tech, as well as a very good Norfolk State team, and we've kind of had a good balance of different types of teams, and we're learning as we go. And most people don't realize we've got 9 new players, 9 of our 15, and so it takes a while to kind of learn how to be able to navigate in different situations and tough situations and things of that nature. And so I'm pleased so far with this. I told our players, like, November's gone. Yeah, we were 6-3 in November, but what are you going to do in December? Because none of that's going to matter if you tank it, the next month. And so we're just trying to build upon what we did in November to keep getting better.
I know that's right. Like November gone, well, you got December, January, February. It's got to take every game. It starts at 0-0, so
That's
it's
right.
anybody's game, it's y'all's game, everything.
That's right. You got it.
So my question for you is, so like when it comes to sports and mental health, I feel like
Mhm.
mental health is so important. But as a coach too, how important is mental health?
Yeah, it's super important for me. My players know that one day each semester they can take a mental health day, no questions asked. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm just going to make sure that they're okay and they can do whatever they need. And if they need more than that, then we'll have a conversation. But mental health matters. We have a sports psychologist that works within our athletics department that, is available to our players, as well as we do a lot of different sessions on mental health and positive self-talk and how to deal with hard situations, how to battle through adversity, things of that nature. And so back when I played, mental health was not a thing. It was just work harder, shrug it off. I wish it would have been addressed the way that it is now. And so I think that we do a good job of supporting them with where they're at and try to help them when they are in need.
For sure. And with how important is as a coach to you talk about your players and to see you being able to, I can see that you love your players as like the children, and like also like you you close to them. How important is it as a coach for you to have that relationship, that player coach relationship, being like a player coach, like Don Staley?
Yeah, it's super important. And, it's difficult as a head coach, being honest. And it's one of the reasons why, for so many years, I did not want to be a head coach, because I know once you move one seat over, the relationship is different when you're the head coach. Like, even though, you got good relationships with your players and things of that nature, you're still the boss. And when you're the boss, it's just kind of different. And so I try to pour into each one of them in different ways. It just kind of depends on them, and try to spend time with them as much as I can. And I need to do a better job of it now, because it's easy to get pulled in different directions with all the different things that we have going on. But I like to say relationships are my superpower, so I need to get back on it.
For sure. I feel you for real. Like, and with I noticed there's, you probably hear like there's so many misconceptions with like mid major, and there's everybody wants to have that Power Five mentality. But for you, what would you say is like the misconception of mid major competition?
That we're not good, that there's not any good teams, or there's only a few good teams and a lot of bad teams. Mid-major basketball, you'll find some of the best games. I mean, there are some really good talented players, some great coaches on the mid-major level. And I like the mid-level because it's not as much pressure for the players, I feel, as maybe what the P4s are, with how they do things. And, the pressure, it comes from us. It comes from within, not necessarily from the outside. So they're able to play a little bit more freely. And in turn, usually there's some pretty good games.
For sure, because like people be sleeping on mid major competition. Like if they ain't saw what happened last year where UNCW beat the Kentucky men's basketball at Kentucky, like
Hmm.
rankings don't, at this point, rankings, you could be
Don't
ranked,
matter.
it don't matter. So, and basketball is basketball. So,
That's right. You
so
got it.
my, or, so my question for you is, if there was a phrase or a word that describes your journey, like overall for you, what
Hmm.
word or phrase would it be and why?
Hmm. What word? Um, I would say the scenic route. So scenic would be the word. And as I said, I didn't come directly into coaching. I went and worked in corporate America and the nonprofit world before I got into coaching. And then, I was an assistant for a long time, and I really enjoyed being an assistant. And I didn't think that I would be a head coach. And people ask me all the time, well, what changed? Sometimes as you grow, just priorities and perspectives change in life. And so I kind of had a scenic route because I never thought that I would be here. But as I said, now that I'm here, it's everything that I never knew that I needed. I've got a great staff that help me in different areas. And we've got a great team. So as I said, I'm gonna try not to mess them up too much, and try to put them in as best case scenario as I can for them to be successful on and off the court.
I know that's right. See, we need more coaches like this. I swear, I'm gonna just say this. We need more coaches like empower women, empowering women, because when you uplift, you see that like that joy that is brought to the passion and love to the sport, and it's like plus like when you enjoy the sport and when you enjoy what you love to do, it feels like you not working. It's not like a job, but it's something like a purpose for you.
It is. It really is. This is like my ministry. This is my calling. My calling in life is to help people. And so for me to be able to help my players get where they want, and get what they want out of life, that's what I'm here for. Same with my coaches, to help them get what they want to get, help them to be prepared so that when they have their opportunities, they'll be ready to move on and be successful as well.
Ooh, I know that's right. I wish I had my fan right now, but it's somewhere. But I'm like just that fan, like where you heard some gospel, just like.
Right.
So I always ask my guests this question, and because Bonafide means authentic and unique. So
Hmm.
what makes Coach Nicole Woods Bonafide, and what makes your story just stands out?
My for me, my story is simple. Um, hard work, and a decision to um, be the best that you can be, but to also get out of your own way. I was the one that, no, I don't want to be a head coach, no, I don't want to be a head coach. And I probably blocked some blessings because of the power of the tongue, saying of what I didn't want to do. And so for me, it's just allowing the good Lord to lead me and be able to, um, you know, uh, not only be able to lead my team and my staff, but to also be able to follow as well, so that I can be a good leader for them. And so, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. So you might as well go ahead and prepare and do your best to be able to, get out there and show the world what you got.
Ooh, I know that's right. I know that's right. And one final question is, I noticed how big you are in your faith, and how has your faith made a huge impact in what you love to do, with coaching, and how were you able to balance both your faith and coaching?
Yeah, so I'm a preacher's kid, and so my faith has been the driving force in my life. And I live by the golden rule and doing unto others. And growing up, I used to wear the bracelets. You remember the "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets back in the day? And so I don't wear it anymore, but in my mind, I'm still like, well, what would Jesus do? And so I try to model myself in his image every chance that I can. And I try to be a light for my players. We have a team chaplain that comes in every home game and gives us a good word and prays over us. And some of the girls come to our church, and again, trying to help them not only learn themselves and to be able to be able to be rooted in who they are, but also to help them in any area that they need help.
Ooh, preach. Hey, you feel like the Lord be working in mysterious ways.
He does. He does.
It's just amazing to like see it, all the blessings, because I was like, count your blessings. Because it's like, I always say, I remember seeing this like, count your blessings, not your problems. Because
Hmm.
like, when you are grateful for what you have, like, nothing else matters. So
That's right. That's right. You got it. You got it.
I be trying. So I'm like, I be trying my best. So
Keep trying. Keep trying.
that's all I gotta do. So Coach Woods, can you let the viewers know where and how they can support you, as well as any upcoming events and games for y'all?
Absolutely. So our we've got a little break right now for finals, and then we don't get back going until the 18th when we're on the road. And so our schedule can be found at UNCW sports.com, so you can find that there. And please, I know Ashley will attach my handles and any and everything. If anybody is interested in supporting our program in any type of way financially, let me know. I can send some, information for that, because I get people to reach out all the time about how they can give and how they can support. So we appreciate that. We appreciate all that you do. And anytime that we're in your area, we'll be at Coastal Carolina on December the 18th. We'll be at ECU on December 21st. And then we'll be back home on December the 29th here versus Longwood. So we're looking forward to seeing you all, and thank you for the support. Thank you, Ashley, for having me.
Of course, you already know I got you on the links because I'm gonna make sure to let folks know. When you invest in women's sports, amazing things happen. So,
That's right. You got it.
most importantly, good luck to you guys on your continuous season, and shout out to you for sharing your story, and shout out to all the people that have tuned in for episode 93 of Bonafide Her podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.